Hi everyone, I'm getting ready to do the tutorial where I'm going to do half of my face with the Charlotte Tilbury new Pillow Talk look and half of my face with Drugstore. But the results are in, so let's see what you said. I'm so excited. Okay, so I showed you this picture and asked you to decide which side was Drugstore. And the final results are 50-50 with 6 of you each voting for either side. So the clue was in the lipstick, and if you look you will see closely that one side is matte and the other is shiny. And those of you that know your Charlotte Tilbury products will know that Pillow Talk is a matte revolution. So that should give you your final clue that if you said A was Drugstore, you were correct. So I can't believe it. I'm just stunned that it was so inconclusive. Anyway, it may not be as much so on video. You can decide. So what I'm going to do is I'm about to put my base on, and I'm going to keep the base exactly the same and the primer each side, and then I'll come back and I'll talk you through, and we're going to do one side Charlotte and one side Drugstore. Okay everyone, so I've put my base on. So just to tell you what I've put on, I have put on the Flawless Filter, shades 3 and 5 mixed together. I've put Magic Foundation on in shade 6.75. I've put Magic Away Concealer on both eyes in shades 5 and 6 mixed. And I have put on her Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in shade 2 medium. Okay, so let me take you through the products, because I am sure that you are dying to see what looked so like Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you what I used in Charlotte Tilbury. So I used her Filmstar Bronze and Glow, which you all know and love, and I love it because I've hit pan, but I'm still not buying a new one yet because there's plenty left. And I managed to find a dupe on Amazon for, how much was this? £3.40. And as you can see, they're trying very hard to let you know what they're trying to copy, because they've called it Hollywood Bronze and Glow, and it's by W7. Okay, so that's the Drugstore side. Then we have Pillow Talk blush, which cost £30. And I used the Drugstore blush by Revolution, which cost £4. Okay, then moving on, we had the eyeshadow palette, the Pillow Talk eyeshadow. Oh, that was the eyeshadow palette, but you get what I mean. So the eyeshadow palette, and that was £39 from Charlotte Tilbury. And the Drugstore palette, which is Revolution Redemption Palette Iconic 3, and that was £4. Okay, then we have the lipstick. I need to get my Pillow Talk lipstick. I'll be right back. Okay, so next up we have Pillow Talk lip liner, which is £16, and my Drugstore version is Maybelline Colour Sensational Shaping Lip Liner, and that was where's the lip liner? £3.99. Okay, and then we had Pillow Talk lipstick, which is here, and that is £24. And my Drugstore alternative is Kate Nude Lipstick by Rimmel London in shade 45, and that is called Nude 45. Sorry, I was just looking at the lip liner and it said that the Maybelline one is called Dusty Rose, and that's shade 50. Okay, right, then we are moving on to the last product, which I found a kind of dupe for. I'll tell you about that. So for the Beauty Light wand, which I always like to put on, the Beauty Light wand is £29. And again, with Makeup Revolution Pro, I found this liquid highlighter called Famous, which is very similar. The only difference is somebody picked up on this actually, and I thought was very observant. The only difference is that it's very similar in shade. Looks beautiful on, but the glitter particles are a bit chunkier. So, but it wasn't too bad when I put it on. I was a little bit worried that it would look like I got chunky glitter on, but it's actually not too bad. Okay. So when you add all these together, Charlotte's look, all the products together, comes to £187. Okay, so that's for the Pillow Talk look, the Beauty Light wand, I know, and the Filmstar Bronze and Glow. And when you add up all the drugstore products, right, I've got a little something to tell you. They actually cost me £20.88. But normally they would cost £24.88. But I got the products from Superdrug, and at the moment there's a 3 for 2 offer on. The only product I didn't get from Superdrug was the dupe of Filmstar Bronze and Glow, and that was from Amazon. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly what I did yesterday, and on the same side. This one was my Charlotte Tilbury side, and this one was my drugstore side. So I'm going to put both of them on and show you how I did it, and then we'll do a wear test, and I will check back in with you guys later to see how the two products have worn. Now I have put the Magic Away concealer on my eyes, and I have dusted it over with Airbrush Flawless Finish powder on both. So the only difference, the base and everything is the same. The only difference is going to be the products that you see that I featured today, because I always take great responsibility when I'm comparing like with like, that I make sure that I've got things right. In terms of the brushes, with the eyeshadows, I've got 2 sets of Charlotte Tilbury brushes, exactly the same. So I will use those 2 sets. I don't have exactly the same blusher brushes, but I shall use the Charlotte Tilbury one and make sure that I dust it down before I go in with the other colour. Okay? Hope that. So let's get going, because I want to get going and then do the wear test. Okay, now I must tell you that I had to play a bit with the eyeshadow palette and the blush on the drugstore. I just couldn't get a near enough match to the eyeshadow of Charlotte Tilbury, but I could when I mixed the eyeshadow with some of the blush. All right, but I will show you how I did that in a minute. Hopefully I'll remember. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go in with Charlotte Tilbury, and I've got my Charlotte Tilbury side here all set up, and I'm going to use the prime shade all over the lid. So then with the drugstore side, this is Makeup Revolution, I am going to go in with this second shade here, which is very similar. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this side with a different brush, making sure that it's clean, and I'm going in with this eyeshadow as a prime shade. Okay, so back to Charlotte Tilbury, and then we are moving on to the enhanced shade, which is this one here. Okay, this one here, and then I'm going to put that into the crease on this side. And with the smudger brush, I'm just going to put some of that enhanced shade underneath. Okay, moving on to the drugstore side. Okay, so here's where a bit of mixing came in. I could probably do this a lot better with another palette, because I discovered after I bought this that it was a bit too cool for Charlotte's eye palette. If you look at this, it looked a lot warmer online, but if you look at these two together, you will see that this is a lot cooler, but the blush palette isn't. So I kind of used it to mix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in first of all with this shade, which is a similar kind of tone, and I went in and used this shade first. And then I went in with this blush shade at the end here to warm it up to the same colour. Put a bit more of that on to warm it up a bit more. I'll blend all that out in a minute. And then dip in the smudge brush again into both shades to mix them together. I just run that underneath. You will notice actually that this side looked a lot warmer in the photograph than when I used Charlotte's one and run it underneath. It looks just slightly redder. Let me just balance that out. All right, and now we go to the smoke shade. So first of all, Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, so we're going in with this shade here. And I'm just going to place that in the corner. And I'm going to run that along the top of the lashes. And underneath. I am going to have a look for a palette that you don't have to mix quite as much on the drugstore side. Right, and then I'm going to blend that in, making sure there are no harsh lines. All right. Okay, for this one I did have to mix again. So I used this shade here, which is a dark brown, but it's too cool. So I mixed it again with this shade at the top to make the kind of warm brown that Charlotte's going for. So first of all, I lay down a very light layer of the brown on the eye palette here. I was just so annoyed when I got it that it looked too cool. No, hang on. First of all, that was Charlotte's brush. Put it away, clean it off. I want my Charlotte's brush on the drugstore side. So I'm going to go in with the brown shade with the smudge brush first of all. Okay. And you will see once you get this on and you blend the two together, you can get them to look, even though when you swatch them, they don't actually look very similar at all. You can get them to look quite similar. Okay, and then I will put some of that on here. And underneath. And then I'm going to pick up this terracotta shade at the top, and I'm going to cover that up again with the smudge brush. Now at the moment it looks very different, but once you blend it together, it should come together. And what you can do is once you start blending, you can add some more of one of the shadows, either to make it warmer or browner, depending on what it's looking like. At the moment it's looking too warm, slightly too warm, so I'll just go back in with the brown. I'll just go over it like that. Just make sure I get the end of the brush and start making sure that's all blended out. These shadows don't blend as easily as Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, you've got to get something that you pay for. Come on. Okay, so then the last thing is the Pop Shade by Charlotte. Now this fooled a few of you, but I think it's more obvious which one's the Charlotte Tilbury Pop Shade on camera and on live video, to be fair, and in real life. I think for whatever reason, the photograph made it look a lot less obvious as to which was which. And I don't know why that was. I have no idea. So I'm just pressing that on a bit more because I do like the Pop Shade. You see, I didn't even bother to go over the line with the warmer shade because it doesn't really notice too much. It's just a subtle hint of a line. Okay, so that's the Pop Shade. I'm just going to clean my finger because I want to use the same finger to put on the Pop Shade of the Drugstore one. Okay, so when you look at the Pop Shade for Charlotte's Pillow Talk, it's actually a mixture of pink and gold, sort of a rose gold. So what I did with this palette is I mixed the pink shade here that I used as a primer with this gold shade, and I mixed the two together and I put that on with my fingers, and that gave me a similar colour, says she. Just bear with me a minute. Now I'll just put some of the gold on top. And a bit more of the gold. So not too much of the pink because you've got the pink underneath anyway, so it will mix with that. And if you feel that in real life, see, as I'm looking at it now, that looks golder than the Charlotte one. If you feel it's not popping enough, I'm going to put some more of the pink on because it definitely, in real life, doesn't look the same. And now it does. Okay. You can always wet it. But I think they look pretty much the same now. Okay. So let me finish off using these products and then I will do my mascara and brows off air and then come back and finish off. So the next thing is I used the Bronze and Glow, and of course I used her Bronze and Sculpt brush, which I only have one of, but I'm just going to make sure I clean it. One sec. Okay, so Charlotte's Filmstar Bronze and Glow. So I will go in with the bronze shade first of all, suck in the cheeks and follow the hollow. And then I'll do the highlighter at the end. No, I'll do it now. Actually, I'll do it underneath. And then I've just cleaned off the brush and I'll just do the highlighter shade. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to put highlighter down the middle of my face, because which one do I put? Which is a bit annoying, but I'll leave it as it is. Okay, so that is, let me put a bit more. What I can do is sculpt under here to my chin, and I can put some up here. Okay, now I'm going to clean that off thoroughly so there is no more product of Charlotte's. Can you see me doing that? I want to make sure this is fair. And we're going in with our £3.40 Hollywood Bronze and Glow. Okay, on the other side. So first of all, the Sculpt shade. Slightly warmer than Charlotte's. And then a bit round here. A bit to sculpt my under my chin. Yeah, it's definitely slightly warmer. Can you see that? It looks a bit redder, but for £3.40, I'm not going to complain. Right, and then just cleaning the brush again on the palm of my hand, and I'm going to go in with the highlighter shade. Okay, then we have the lipsticks. And yes, I did do half a lip with Pillow Talk and half a lip, and that's I was afraid was the big giveaway. So this is Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. And on the Drugstore side, we have Maybelline Colour Sensational in Dusty Rose, and this is shade 50. Okay, then the lipstick. See how close they are. The lipstick, Pillow Talk on this side. Hopefully I won't look too mad. If it looks too mad that one side's matte and one side's shiny, what I might do is dab a bit of Charlotte's collagen lip bath on the Pillow Talk side. And then this side is Kate Moss Nude Collection by Rimmel, and this is shade 45. Alright, and then last but not least, we have the blush. So let's go in with Pillow Talk blush. The Swish shade, I'll put on the Swish and Pops shade today. You know, normally I put the Swish on both sides and then the Pop, but so as not to contaminate the brush too much with the other side, I will put on both together. So there's the Swish shade for Pillow Talk and the Pop shade, and this isn't last but not least, is it? Because I haven't put on the highlighter yet. And then here is the Pop shade. Okay, now I'm going to clean this brush off just so that you can see that I'm really giving it some welly. And there's no Charlotte Tilbury left. Don't want to cheat anyone. Okay, the pop shade looks a little bit different, but I'm going in, first of all, I'm going to go in again with this blush, which is the most similar. No, wrong one. I've just put it in the wrong one. Let's get rid of that. Right, first of all, I'm going in with this one here, okay? Because that is the most similar. Just dab that off on my hand. Again, what you'll find with these is you just have to blend a bit more. As you can see, it just doesn't go on quite as well. But it's Drugstore. And then this isn't quite the same as the pop shade. Exactly. Because the pop shade of Charlotte's is like that. But what I did is I used a mixture of this one, which has got the marbled effect, which is a sort of lighter pink, and this one at the top, which is a sort of more highlighter shade, so that it gets a similar effect. But it's Charlotte's pop shade has got more yellow tone in it. But I'm sure if I shopped online for these products. I think if you went into a drugstore, you could get very similar products. Now, I've been a bit too heavy-handed with that blush, as you can see. So I'm just going to go back in with my foundation blender, just to calm it down a little bit. Okay, and then the final bit is the Beauty Light wand. So on this side, I'm using Charlotte's Beauty Light wand. Let me make sure I haven't got any of those colours on my fingers. And on the other side, I am using this. Now, as I said, exactly the same colour, but the glitter particles are chunkier. Can you see that? And well done to the person who said A is the drugstore because of the highlighter. That is some observant lady, because you can see it, but only when you're very close up, that it's a bit chunkier. Okay, so you can see that the blusher, I've been a bit too heavy-handed with the blusher, and I'm going to tidy that up a bit by putting some powder over the top. I'll put some airbrush Flawless Finish over. Okay, but that's it. That's the finished look. I'm going to go out and pick up Jack. I'm going to put some mascara on and I'll do my eyebrows. And when I go and pick Jack up, I'm going to ask some of the mums which side is which. So there is the finished look. Sorry about this, guys. I did. I'm going to have to clean this up a bit. It's just too much. But that's my mistake. And I think I'll just put a bit of collagen lip bath on this side. All right. Okay, that's me done. I have to say that the most noticeable thing in person as I'm looking in the mirror is the lips. Okay, this side, Charlotte Tilbury side, basically looks like my lips but better. This looks like I've got lipstick on. But other than that, the Beauty Light wand is showing up a lot more on the Charlotte Tilbury side. But I don't know whether that's because I've been a bit more cautious on this side, knowing that the glitter flecks are quite glittery, and I don't want to look like a glitter bomb. But yeah, those are the eyeshadow. Let me just, a bit there that I didn't blend very well. And if you look closely, you can see, I think, the pop shade has got more of a pop to it. But from a distance, I don't think you can tell. Anyway, so I'm going to wear this. I'm going to meet Jack from school. He's allowed to come home alone, but I've agreed to meet him in the park. I just wish I could just went too much with this. And I don't want to adjust it too much, because then it's just going to disturb it too much. But anyway, so that's a look, and I will check in with you later, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, I'm back, and it is now 2.5 hours since I put this makeup on, and as you can hear in the background, Jack is back from school having his short time playing online with his friend. I let him do that when I'm doing my videos, but he's not always on there, I can promise you. I only managed to bump into one person that I knew, and I stopped and asked her which side she preferred, and she said the drugstore side. So there you go. And Jack, actually, he got it right yesterday, but today he said he thought this was Charlotte Tilbury. So I think it's something to do with the shimmer shade on the lid as well, because the pop shade is not really sticking that well on the Charlotte Tilbury side. The blush, I think that the main thing is it's the blending. It's the blending. You definitely need to blend a lot more on the drugstore side, and I definitely prefer the lip on this side. It was a bit of a weird feeling actually, because
look where the cube is.
I put the collagen lip bath over this half to make it look shiny, and of course it plumps your lips as well, and it feels tingly. So I kind of got a plumping effect on half of my lips. So if you want to see what a collagen lip bath does, it's on this side and not this side. So have a look.
Yes, it is. It's going to be turned into lava.
Okay, so both are on equal as well. My eyes have been watering, and none of it's really run. I mean, I wasn't really expecting this underneath to run, because it's Magic Away concealer, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's just mind-blowing.
I don't know why I decided to watch his channel.
And I wonder if I'd put a drugstore concealer on, I think you'd have seen a massive difference there. But yeah, so there you go. I'll just zoom in. Charlotte Tilbury side.
I'm not spectating you.
And drugstore side. Alright, see you soon. I'll check in later. Hi guys, just wanted to explain. I actually fell asleep after that. I put my feet up on the sofa after making dinner and went into a deep sleep. Now fortunately, in terms of this review, I fell asleep face up, so I wasn't on my side. Otherwise it would have ruined one side and it would have made it completely worthless. But you will see the check-in that I did later. Now there's no sound to it, the reason being that Jack and my other half were in bed by the time I woke up. You'll see exactly what happens to foundation when it's been on too long on my nose. And I probably look a bit of a wreck, but it was very, very interesting, so stay tuned. Okay, here I am. Now, I just changed my lipstick because, of course, my lipstick came off. And I thought I'm not going to try and recreate that. And I put the Duchess on because I forgot to swatch that for a lady on my live. And there's me telling you I'm very sleepy. So that's what the Duchess looks like. That's what my foundation does when I've been in it too long. And you can see that. Now, look at... That's the Charlotte Tilbury side, and that is the Drugstore side. Look, Charlotte Tilbury, Drugstore. I was absolutely amazed. I just can't believe it, right? I really can't believe it. It's made me question a lot of things. But the face products, definitely, Charlotte Tilbury looked good. Still held out really well. The other side, not so good, really. But I just couldn't get over the eyes. I had to keep showing you the eyes because the Drugstore actually held up better. So, yeah, that's that bit. And I'm saying bye-bye. Okay, so to conclusions. Obviously, I got a bit of a shock with the eyeshadow. But I just want to repeat that I was lying flat. I was not on one particular side. So, I was very surprised by that because I did actually think that the Charlotte Tilbury would wear better, and it did on the face products. Now, if you wanted to buy these products, I'll tell you what I would buy out of these things. I would definitely buy the eyeshadow, and I would buy the blusher palette, but not to put on my face, but to mix with the eyeshadow to make a similar effect. If I can find an eyeshadow in one that does it all, then I will let you know. Because I think probably you can find a warmer palette, so you don't need to mix it with blusher. But the blusher and the eye palette were £4 each. And there's 3 for 2 on in Superdrug at the moment. Now, I thought about this and thinking, because there's 3 for 2, what 3 products would I pick so that you could get 3 for 2? And I think out of the 3 products of Drugstore, I would definitely choose the eyeshadow, the blusher, and the lip liner, which looked virtually identical to the Pillow Talk lip liner. And it went on really well, and it had one of those stay sharp twist up things. So given that it's 3 for 2 on at the moment, and the lip liner was £3.99 and the 2 other products were £4, you would basically get those 3 things for £8. And I would heartily recommend them if you want to mimic the Pillow Talk look. In terms of the blush, that's still available on Charlotte Tilbury's website, and I think it blended a lot better. It looked a lot better. It lasted a lot better. In terms of the Beauty Light Wand, I think the dupe was pretty good, actually. It wasn't as glittery and sparkly as I thought. It's not the same as Charlotte Tilbury's, but if you don't have money to spend £29, I think it's a pretty good alternative. The Bronze and Glow is, again, if you don't have the money to spend £49, it's pretty good. But it is a lot warmer, and I think if you were pale skinned you would look a bit orange. I think I could just about get away with it because I've got medium skin, and I think if you're darker than me, I think that the dupe of the Filmstar Bronze and Glow, called Hollywood Bronze and Glow, would possibly, I don't know this because I haven't tried it, but it might look a bit better because it is warmer. So the bronzer was warmer. The highlighter, there's not too much in it. It's not quite as good, but it's not bad. So to any of you on a budget, this has just goes to show that high end doesn't always mean that you're sacrificing quality by getting drugstore products. And I managed to fool a lot of people into thinking that the drugstore side was Charlotte Tilbury. And I wasn't trying to do that. I was literally wanting to see whether I could recreate the product. As you know, I love Charlotte Tilbury, and I really don't want to prove to myself that I could actually buy products a lot cheaper and for the same effect. I don't want to prove that to myself, because I think the other thing about Charlotte Tilbury is the packaging, is the luxury feel of the items, is that feeling that you're giving yourself a treat. And if that's something that's important to you, then obviously opening the eyeshadow palette and the blusher palette on the Drugstore side doesn't really give you that. So, but if the final look is what's important to you, and not the packaging, then I do think those 3 products that I've mentioned will be a very good alternative. And as her eyeshadow palette has sold out, and we don't know if it's coming back into stock, then it's an option. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed my review. I've just ordered my my large palette, so hopefully it's coming tomorrow, because I ordered it at 9 o'clock, Charlotte Tilbury, before the cut-off point. I know you're busy, but that's your promise, and I paid for next day delivery. So, be warned. Okay, and I will see you tomorrow, and it probably won't be Foundation Friday. It'll be new product Charlotte Tilbury again. But I have got a very interesting Drugstore foundation for you all. So I'll see you tomorrow, one way or the other. Bye-bye.